Hello friends! You're on the Last Days channel. Thank you so much for your engagement and support. And so, a review of events for December 6th and 7th. Central Java, Pati, Indonesia. Heavy rains caused severe flooding in Pati Regency in Central Java, Indonesia. Dozens of roads have been washed away as a result, and floodwaters have begun entering residential areas after heavy rain caused local rivers and streams to overflow. India. Andhra Pradesh. Tamil Nadu. Cyclone Michaun caused severe damage to the southern coast of India, especially in the states of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. 2 days of unrelenting rain caused flooding and disrupted tourist activities. In Rajahmundry in Andhra Pradesh, hurricane-force wind speeds reached 110 km per hour. In Konaseem, a water tornado made landfall and wreaked havoc in the city. In Andhra Pradesh, trees were uprooted and flooded at least 25 villages, more than 15,000 people were evacuated. The state of Tamil Nadu continues to struggle with flooding after heavy rainfall. According to the authorities, the bad weather has affected almost 400,000 people. The storm has killed at least 17 people in the state of Tamil Nadu. The city of Chennai received more than 330 millimeters of rainfall in 2 days, causing flooding in several neighborhoods, as well as water shortages and power cuts. Residents took out a rally demanding that the authorities take measures to eliminate the consequences of the disaster. The authorities assured that they are taking all necessary steps to restore order and remove the effects of the storm. In Chennai, large-scale relief efforts are continuing, although houses in the outskirts and neighborhoods of the city are still underwater. Tanzania. Heavy rains and floods have caused severe damage in Tanzania. Houses, roads, and local farms have been destroyed. Residents fear a serious crisis as most of their crops have been destroyed. At least 68 people have died because of the weather. Landslides have hit low-lying areas. People have been forced to leave their homes and more than 5,000 people are in temporary accommodation centers. Emergency services are carrying out rescue operations and trying to restore life in the city. But food and medicines are not enough for all residents. The government has sent the military to help. This is not the first case of flooding in the region, and scientists explain that climate change and global warming are to blame. United States. Washington. Oregon. Due to the abnormal amount of precipitation, streets and roads in Oregon and Washington are flooded. In some places the water level reaches several meters, houses and cars are underwater, there is no electricity. Complicating the situation are landslides, which have already claimed the lives of 2 people. The city sewers cannot cope, and the emergency services are trying to pump out the water, but it is not enough. Downpours and strong wind gusts continue to rage in the region. Volunteers are coming to the aid of rescuers to deliver food and medicines to the needy. Local residents are advised to prepare for possible evacuation, collect essential supplies and documents. Weather forecasters warn that bad weather will linger in Oregon until at least the end of the week. Mecca, Saudi Arabia. There was severe flooding west of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. The Arabian Peninsula was at the mercy of heavy rains and storms. Roads turned into raging rivers, and traffic jams appeared. In a few hours, the region received 3 months' worth of rainfall. Canoes, Brazil. In the city of Canoes in Brazil, there was a terrible fire in a packaging warehouse. Plastic and cardboard materials were stored there, and because of this, the fire spread rather quickly. The flames engulfed a significant part of the building, and a thick column of black acrid smoke rose into the sky. Firefighting crews were immediately dispatched to the scene of the emergency and began extinguishing the fire. About 372 people were evacuated. The fire was extinguished in a few hours. It is reported that no one was injured. Mariano Roque Alonso, Paraguay. A tornado struck Mariano Roque Alonso, Paraguay yesterday, damaging dozens of buildings and vehicles. The agricultural sector also suffered heavy damage. The Paraguayan Meteorological Service warned of the possibility of new storms in the north of the country, in connection with which classes in schools were canceled. Hidalgo, Mexico. The Mexican state of Hidalgo was covered by a downpour cyclone. In the epicenter of the impact of the elements was the city of Tula de Allende. There passed the element rains and hail, after that the settlement literally floated. Streets, squares were flooded, residential houses and administrative buildings were partially submerged. The local market was flooded. The downpour lasted only a few minutes, but it managed to lead the residents to panic and chaos. Because of the storm, power outages began. Now the emergency services are eliminating the consequences of the cyclone. There have been no reports of casualties or fatalities so far. Baku, Azerbaijan. An earthquake with magnitude of 5.6 has occurred in Azerbaijan today. Director General of the Seismological Service said that the origin of the earthquake coincided with the origin of the natural disaster that occurred in July in the Caspian Sea. In Baku, children were released from classes because of the danger of earthquake recurrence. Local media reports that the earthquake was felt in Kazakhstan's Aktau. The tremors were also felt in Tavash region of Armenia. The tremors were felt in Noyambarian, Ijevan, Bird, in the village of Akajur, 3 points. In the epicenter of the earthquake, 61 kilometers from Sumgait, the magnitude was 7 to 8 points. At the moment, there is no information about the dead or injured. Mpumalanga, South Africa. A strong storm accompanied by heavy rain and hail hit Mpumalanga province, South Africa. Property and vehicles were damaged as a result of the storm. Isangel, Vanuatu. Earthquake with magnitude 6.9 occurred off the coast of Vanuatu. It was reported by the European Mediterranean Seismological Center. The epicenter was located at a distance of 128 kilometers south of the city of Isangel with a population of about 1.4 thousand people. The source lay at a depth of 32 kilometers. The National Tsunami Warning Center of the USA issued a warning about the threat of tsunami. According to the center's forecasts, the earthquake may cause tsunami waves within 300 kilometers from the epicenter of the tremors along the coast of Vanuatu and New Caledonia. Our planet. According to scientists from the British Antarctic Survey, the world's largest iceberg, A23A, which has spent almost 30 years on the seafloor, has come into motion and is heading for the open sea. The area of this iceberg is about 4,000 square kilometers and it weighs more than 1 trillion tons, which is 3 times the area of New York City. However, scientists have expressed fears that this movement could lead to serious consequences for mankind. The iceberg's ice may contain frozen bacteria and viruses that humans are not yet aware of. This could lead to the emergence of new diseases on Earth. In addition, the melting of the iceberg could raise ocean levels and cause new floods and even the disappearance of coastal areas. Scientists do not yet know how to solve this problem and suggest just to observe the situation.